Alright guys, well, welcome to Wandering Trader. I'm sorry if there's a bit of a glare, the sun is over here, I'm having a hard time trying to record today. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about running your travel blog and if you can make money actually running a travel blog. I have extensive experience. If you guys don't know me, I've been running Wandering Trader I think since 2010. That makes it about 7 years, 2010, I think 2011. I originally started the site with a different concept than most people. I think when I first started, there was a lot of other travel bloggers. I just wanted to share their stories. There's a few who actually started a travel blog to open up their writing career in writing that they wanted to start. But I just wanted, honestly, to use the blog to make money. It was easy to first get started. The first thing I have to tell you guys is the travel blogging world or the industry, everybody's super friendly. They love to kind of help out. Obviously, with all the sites now that are going out there, it's very easy to be able to kind of get going, not only with SEO but also with kind of exposure and stuff. I know at the end of the day, everybody's going to be really cliche and tell you guys, well, yeah, just put out. There's a massive lizard over here. This cliche, like, yeah, put out great content and people will follow you. But in my concept of how to do things, I think it's important to be able to make sure to get the exposure as well, because if you put out great content, it's going to be easier for you to get the exposure you need. And he's coming toward me, so sorry if I'm getting a bit distracted by this massive lizard over here, guys. So one of the things that you have to understand is if you can make money with a travel blog is that it's not going to be quick. I think that it took me, 2 years since the first kind of money I received from the actual blog. One of the advantages that you do have is that it's not very expensive to run the actual site itself. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a little bit of traveling, you can backpack, you can save quite a bit of money traveling. But what's up, little guy? I think it's going to take a lot longer for you guys to make money than normal. I think for those of you guys that don't know, I'm also a day trader. I've been day trading for about 15 years now. 15? No, 8. Yeah, I've been traveling for about 8 years. And I've been day trading for actually 15. Now I run a few businesses. I also day trade. I teach people how to day trade. It's not something where you're going to start your travel blog and start making money tomorrow, just FYI. There's obviously different ways that you can make money as well. Most people make money by selling links, and that has to do with Google SEO. If you have a high enough authority site, then what will happen is you'll start getting contacts from people about putting links on your site, and those you can sell them for, depending on your site, anywhere between $100 to $500 each link. And obviously you guys can do the math. With just a handful of links a month, you're already making a few $1,000s. Once you get to the point where your travel blog is actually big enough, then you can actually obviously have some products, travel blogs, or travel guides, I should say, travel guides, ebooks, all that stuff. But I think the clearest thing, or the most important thing I want you guys to understand to be able to know about travel blogging is that it takes a lot of time, especially in the beginning, to be able to get returns at the end. I compare, for example, the history or the lineage kind of time that I've had with day trading in comparison to the travel blog. And obviously they're very intertwined because the blog is called Wandering Trader. But it took me 2 years to get the first amount of money. I used to sell a ton of links on Wandering Trader. Obviously, another thing that you have to consider are the trips that you get. If you are able to, if you have a high enough authority site, or you're a good negotiator, I should say, because at the end of the day, it's not really high authority your site is, but more what you can negotiate for yourself, right? If you get press trips and free hotels and that kind of stuff, that stuff can save you a lot of money, which I think according to the IRS now is considered income. So It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. If you guys are passionate about being creative and writing and doing video and stuff like that, it's definitely worth it. I have had a great time travel blogging. I've kind of not have been up to par as before because I've been so busy with the day trading stuff. But you know, it takes a while to learn how to day trade as well. If I had to compare the two, you know, you with day trading you can make a lot more money in the long term in terms of travel, where the majority of the travelers that I know don't make a lot of money. It's kind of that 10% rule where the top 10% does well, but really the ones that do exceptionally well are the ones in the top 1, 2, or 3%. And that's obviously when you get to a point where you have a lot of exposure, a lot of traffic, because then you have leverage, right? And once you have leverage, you can do anything with your own personal brand, like selling your own stuff. Obviously, I think if I had to give you guys some tips, I would recommend not trying to recreate. Let me start over. I wouldn't necessarily try to create something new or from scratch. One of the things that I would look to do if I were you guys is I would look to other people that are extremely successful and take tips from either their sites or their videos or whatever the case may be, and use that as a launching point or a starting point. Also, you know, I think it's important to also know that it's even though people are willing to help, it's not just a gimme, right? You can't just email somebody and say, hey, I want you to give me this, or can you help me with this? Travel bloggers, they get thousands of emails a day, not only from guys in Romania and India that want to just get free stuff, but also from other travel bloggers as well, and even press and media companies. So if you are going to jump into the space, try to be helpful. You know, attend a lot of the conferences, not only travel blog conferences, but also just online, doing business online conferences. I think there's a South by Southwest is a great one. They have a YouTube conference there, I think in Southwest, which is great. A few good, well, I think I'll give you guys some tips on who to follow or things like that. But you can, at the end of the day, make money with a travel blog, but I don't think it's going to be millions until you reach, you know, Anthony Bourdain status. I do know a few travel bloggers that make a few $100,000 a year, more than a handful, not only with the links, but also with the products and things like that. So it's definitely possible. And obviously at the end of the day, you have to keep yourself going because you have to talk about new things. You don't... I would heed the advice of trying to document your travels rather than trying to create content, because at the end of the day, people are going to follow you just because they like you, not necessarily because they like your stuff. Obviously, being able to create content and good videos and good posts and informational posts for people is super, super important, because at the end of the day, traveling is a really personal experience. And I think no matter where you go, everybody does it differently, and you can give tips to people about different things. But at the end of the day, it's going to take a lot longer than you guys think, and I would look to maybe do something part-time in the meantime before you kind of go full throttle and expect you're going to make a living with a travel blog, because it takes a lot longer than I think most of you are willing to think or consider. And also, I think you guys should know that it's important to understand that it's in the beginning, it's not easy money, or it's not good money, I should say, right? You're not going to make $1 million your first year, but you can kind of support yourself little by little if you want to take small trips and things like that. So I recommend you guys hop on YouTube. YouTube is big. It's the second largest search engine in the world, and it's pretty easy to rank if you know what you're doing. I've done pretty well, especially when you do that. And one of the keys that I'll leave you with, I think we're about 8 or 9 minutes into the video, is I think consistency is key, right? You know, I'm not a good writer. I built, you know, I get a few 100,000 people a month on the blog, and I'm not a very good writer at all. And there's grammar ninjas all over the place on my posts. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to necessarily do things perfectly. If you think you kind of have to do them perfectly, you don't really have to. But the key is consistency. You have to keep up the blog to make sure when somebody follows you or they're inspired by you, that you keep it going so they can keep following you. That's kind of the challenge that I've had, where I've done really well and then I kind of dropped off, but then I picked back up again, and I probably could be doing a lot better if I just kind of kept going with it. So I'll leave you guys here with the view. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon, guys. Ciao. Oh. Don't use nomadic in your name. Everybody uses it.